Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are diving deep into something that's, well, pretty much invisible, but absolutely essential to your health: micronutrients. These are the tiny, powerful engines that run everything behind the scenes, from your energy levels to your immune system. So let's get into it. So let me ask you this. Have you ever really stopped to think about what's running the show inside your body? What are those invisible engines that keep you going day after day? The answer, it turns out, is something you eat every single day, maybe without even realizing it. We're talking about micronutrients.
So let's pull back the curtain and find out what's going on. First things first, what are micronutrients exactly?
Okay, so at their core, micronutrients are just the vitamins and minerals your body absolutely has to have to work properly. We need them in tiny amounts, but they are non-negotiable. And here's the kicker. Our bodies can't make most of them. Except for vitamin D, which our skin can famously make from sunlight, we have to get every single one from the food we eat.
So, what's the big deal? Why do they matter so much?
Well, they're involved in pretty much every single process that keeps you alive and kicking. They help keep your immune system strong, they turn food into energy, they help your blood clot when you get a cut, they build strong bones, they even help you see clearly. They are, quite literally, fundamental to your health. Micronutrients are usually broken down into two main groups. So first up, let's talk about the ones you've probably heard of the most: vitamins. These are organic substances, which is just a fancy way of saying they're made by plants or animals. Now, even vitamins come in two different flavors, and it all depends on how your body handles them. First, you've got your fat-soluble vitamins. That's A, D, E, and K. Your body's smart. It can store these in your fatty tissues and liver for a rainy day. Then you have the water-soluble ones, like vitamin C and all the B vitamins. With these, your body kind of takes what it needs right away and gets rid of the rest. That means you've got to keep topping them up pretty regularly. A perfect example of a fat-soluble vitamin is the famous sunshine vitamin, vitamin D. Its main job, its whole purpose really, is to manage calcium in your body. And that's absolutely crucial for building and keeping your bones, teeth, and muscles strong and healthy. But hey, what if you live somewhere that doesn't get a ton of sun, especially in the winter? Well, that's when getting vitamin D from your food becomes so important. Things like oily fish, red meat, and egg yolks are fantastic sources. And if you're looking for a plant-based option, mushrooms are a great go-to. All right, flipping over to the water-soluble team, let's talk about a real powerhouse: vitamin C. It's an amazing antioxidant, which means it protects your cells from damage. Plus, it's essential for keeping your skin, bones, and blood vessels healthy. A serious lack of vitamin C is what caused scurvy in sailors hundreds of years ago. That's how important it is. Luckily for us, getting enough vitamin C today is pretty simple. It's packed into all sorts of common foods, from citrus fruits like oranges to broccoli and all those colorful bell peppers. Another really critical water-soluble vitamin is folate, which is one of the B vitamins. It's super important for making healthy red blood cells, but it's probably most famous for its vital role during pregnancy, where getting enough can help prevent serious birth defects. It's a real hero nutrient. And you can find this amazing nutrient in a lot of great plant-based foods. Just think leafy greens like spinach, and also broccoli, chickpeas, and kidney beans. All of them are packed with folate. So that's the world of vitamins. The other half of this micronutrient family is minerals. Now, unlike vitamins, which are organic, minerals are inorganic. They come from the earth, from soil and water, and they get to us through the plants that absorb them and the animals that eat those plants. And just like vitamins, minerals are also split into two groups. But this time, it's all about how much we need. We've got macro minerals, like calcium and sodium, which we need in larger amounts. And then there are trace minerals, like iron and zinc, which, as the name suggests, we only need in tiny amounts, but they're still absolutely essential. Let's use sodium as our example for a macro mineral. I know, it often gets a bad rap, but the truth is, it's essential for life. We need it for our muscles to contract, for our nerves to fire off signals, and to keep the fluids in our body perfectly balanced. So the problem isn't sodium itself, it's the amount we eat. The recommendation is to stay under 2,300 milligrams a day, but the reality is most people in the US consume way more than that, and a lot of the time it's hidden in ultra-processed foods. Now, on the trace mineral side of things, let's talk about iron. Its main job is to be a core part of hemoglobin. Think of hemoglobin as the taxi service in your red blood cells that picks up oxygen from your lungs and delivers it everywhere else in your body. If you're low on iron, that whole delivery system slows down, leading to anemia and that classic feeling of being tired all the time. You can get iron from all sorts of places. Red meat is a really well-known source, but you can also find it in kidney beans, soy protein like edamame, and even in things like nuts and dried apricots. Okay, so hearing about all these essential nutrients naturally leads to a really common question. Is it better to get all this stuff from food, or should we just make life easy and grab a bottle of supplements? Well, when you look at them side by side, the picture becomes pretty clear. Food gives you this amazing, complex package deal. You don't just get the vitamin. You get it along with fiber, antioxidants, and all these other compounds that work together. Supplements, on the other hand, just give you one specific, isolated nutrient. So the general thinking is to have a food-first mindset for your overall health. Supplements then become a really useful tool for targeting specific gaps, like B12 for someone on a vegan diet, or extra folate for women who are planning to become pregnant.
So we've gone through a lot here. What's the big takeaway from all of this? Let's try to boil it all down to the most important points.
Here's what you really need to remember. First, micronutrients are those vital vitamins and minerals your body simply can't function without. Second, the absolute best way to get them is through a varied, balanced diet. That means loading up your plate with lots of different fruits, vegetables, legumes, and grains. And finally, just remember that supplements do have their place. They're great for filling specific, identified gaps, but they're not a replacement for a healthy diet. And that really brings us to our final thought for today. The next time you sit down for a meal, just take a look at your plate. Is it painted with a full micronutrient rainbow? It's a great question to ask yourself as you work on fueling all those amazing invisible engines of your health. Thanks for joining me.
Click the subscribe button to stay updated with VitalSpan Labs.